Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2MinuteLogic.com, where logic is laid out in 2 minutes. This site is dedicated to trying to make logic out of the illogical. I'm doing it in 2 minutes, or about 2 minutes. Here we pay special attention to the not so obvious agenda of the mainstream media. We will look at headlines, articles, and stories pushed by the mainstream media and attempt to make logic out of them. We'll also look at the underlying and not so obvious reasoning for producing and distributing these mainstream media pieces. Always remember, folks, the mainstream media has an agenda. That agenda is to control not only what the public thinks, but how the public thinks it. Here we'll cut through the bullshit and give you the logic, but it's up to you whether you believe it or not. Today's logic gem is a recent story concerning presidential candidate Donald Trump's son Eric. Apparently, Eric Trump is being ridiculed all over the mainstream media for not understanding the Spanish language. Let me explain. The story goes like this. Yesterday, after speaking at a Trump rally in North Carolina on behalf of his father, Eric and his wife Laura were mingling in a crowd, posing for pictures with the folks that attended the rally. Typical stuff. At some point, Eric and Laura posed for a picture with two girls. I think they call themselves Latinas or Latinos or whatever. I don't know. I myself don't call Central and South Americans Latinos because they ain't Latin. Latins hail from Europe. This is your first bit of logic, folks. You can't be Latina or Latino and not be Latin. It just doesn't make sense. Latinos come from Europe. Latin is European. So I don't know how these South Americans and Central Americans became Latins, except for the fact that they speak Spanish, which is a Latin language. So, in other words, Latins, you're not Latinos, you're not Latin. So just get over that. Anyway, these girls, these ethnic Mexicans or Cubans or Ecuadorians, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what they were. Some type of South Americans or something. Uh, they could be American citizens, but their ethnic background is definitely some type of Islander or South American or Central American. They got Eric and Laura to pose for a picture. One of the girls in the picture had a T-shirt on which she wrote in magic marker. And you can see the pictures here. It's all over the internet, right? So if you do a Yahoo search, it's all over the place, right? Salon, of course, Salon. These scumbags. I I don't even who even I. It's just unbelievable. Salon and the Hill. These guys. I don't know. This guy, the CEO or the president or whatever, he said he was a political hack for the Hillary Clinton campaign. Yeah, or Politico, one of them. They're all the same. And it's just when Jezebel, it figures. Look, they put the big picture there. Probably poses with woman wearing Latina Contra Trump shirt. What do we got here? Mashable, Daily News, the icons of media and reporting, and Fox. Even Fox is in on the smash, and of course the Huffington Post, the biggest bunch of losers that I can't even tell you what I think of those scumbags. But anyway, so my first bit of logic is this. This is where the 2 minutes comes in, folks. It's really quick here, right? As I stated earlier, Latinas and Latinas don't exist. They ain't Latin. There's no such people. South and Central Americans no more Latin than they are Spanish. Just as I'm no more English than I am British. Yes, I speak, but I ain't English. Nor am I Welsh, Norman, or British. In fact, my family hails from Italy, which actually makes me a Latin. Who knew? Look, just because you were conquered by another nation, Latinos, if that's what you want to call yourselves, it doesn't entitle you to absorb the conquering people's ethnicity. You can speak their language, you can read their language, you may absorb their politics. You can even be forced to worship their God, but you can't absorb their ethnicity. It don't work like that. You don't see Indians calling themselves Britannians because the British conquered India. Nor do you see the Japanese call themselves Americanos because America kicked their asses in World War II. No, these people keep their ethnicity, but they adopt or absorb some parts of the culture of the conquering people. That's all. You don't start calling yourself something because you don't know what you are. Maybe there's a bunch of natives running around in South and Central America and you guys needed this. But why you picked Latin, I don't know. It's the Latin's a dead language anyway. You should have called yourself something else, Spasinicans or some. I don't know anything else. Latin. You're not Latin. And here's the second bit of logic concerning this story. Who gives a shit? What American really gives a good goddamn if Eric and Laura Trump can or cannot speak or read Spanish? I mean, I would give a shit if the girl's shirt was written in English and the picture was taken, but it's in Spanish, seriously. So here's the deal, mainstream retards. Here's the point. What if the girls were Japanese or Chinese and the anti Trump slogan was written in Japanese or Mandarin? Should Eric and Laura have known how to speak rudimentary Japanese or Mandarin? Of course not. So why the big deal about Spanish? Well, here's the not so obvious reason for the mainstream media's push and the serious reason of the sin of not knowing Spanish. Besides trying to make a Trump look like an idiot, which the mainstream media does on a constant basis, whether they lie or leave things out, they constantly try to make the Trumps look stupid. That's the main agenda of the story. That's the surface. But the underlying agenda is less obvious, but far more diabolical. Basically, the article is pushing the if you can't read or speak Spanish, you're stupid and somehow un-American agenda. Yes, that's the underlying agenda here, folks. The idea is to show us uncivilized Americans that somehow you're not a full red-blooded civilized American if you can't read or speak Spanish. This is a classic example of the mainstream media trying to normalize America's dispossession, to mock our traditional and national language, and to ridicule any American who refuses to learn Spanish. You see, the mainstream media is on the open borders team. They are in big with the elite corporate and political scumbags that want to destroy our national borders and our traditions and smash our will to resist our own dispossession. That's the real reason for this story. There's nothing to do with anything else. I mean, like I said, it just doesn't. These guys, these media is absolutely trying to get us to fall right into place with our own dispossession. And stories like this is exactly what and how they do it. And they do it on a subconscious level. And if you don't believe me, get somebody to look at this story and read it, and then ask them what this story tells them. And I guarantee you, they will tell you that it's trying to make Eric Trump look stupid. But like I said, the underlying portion of this, the subconscious, that's what they go after. And this is what you need to be on guard for, people, is to watch and look for this kind of stuff, because that's what it's all about. Some of us are awakened and we understand it, and it's what it is. But others are not. Many, many, many of us are not. So we need to get these people up to speed on how this works. Anyway, that was your logic in 2 minutes. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below. Thanks.